What's good, everybody? Welcome to another broadcast here for Fast Break here for High Sports Radio. Your referral is sports. Sorry, the mic was muted there. But on tonight's show, D-Locke, welcome back to the show. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanksgiving was pretty decent, NBA season was getting pretty hot, and got the NBA Cup going on. So, shocking wins, not the losses coming up, but it's been an interesting season so far.
Yes, sir. Very interesting season so far. The contenders really are starting to show out. The NBA Cup is going on, so we'll discuss that and who comes out on top of that as well. Got predictions there. Also, we'll talk about the players era. What can they do different to make it more viewable for the audience? Because 11 o'clock tip-offs in the Central Time is going to cut it for future tournaments and stuff like that. And plus, D-Locke, Jalen Williams back for the Thunder, who are 19-1. We'll discuss that and how it's going to impact them where they're already dominant as already. So, I'll talk about, like, dive in here to tonight's show. So, after these few short messages, we'll get rock and rolling. But this is Fast Break here for High Sports Radio. You're ready for all sports. We'll catch you on the other side.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And welcome back to the broadcast here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. Hopefully, y'all Thanksgiving week was well. Hopefully, y'all spend time with your family or friends, however y'all do it. And hopefully, y'all watch a lot of basketball during that time, because a lot of basketball happened from the morning time to the latest of nights. D-Log, that we will dive into. Let me take this, D-Log. 11 o'clock tip-offs for college basketball. I know it's a holiday week, but damn. Like, that first Alabama game against UNLV, I tried, man. I tried. Second half, 4 minutes in, I was done. I fell asleep on the couch. And that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, man, I had to cook some stuff. So I was up prime. I watched them play Maryland, but damn, they got to work on that. But we'll dive into that later, all that stuff. But welcome back to the fold, D-Lock. We're going to talk about the NBA Cup here and, the knockout rounds, all that stuff. So we're going to dive into that, including your Orlando Magic there in the running as well. But this past week in the NBA was dominated by Nikola Jokic's historic play, the Pistons' surprise and rise, which we're still talking about, and the Thunder's winning streak, as we talk about this week in NBA action. D-Lock, let's talk about. I know we've been talking about the Pistons straight, but we still got to talk about it because they've been playing very well. The Pistons, in your eyes, they continue to play. They play strong. Are they the best team in the East in your eyes?
I feel like this is the same, very similar conversation we had a few years ago about Oklahoma City Thunder on the West.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how they were this team that had the best record in the conference. We seen them at the top. We see that it still was a young team. I don't think they're the best team in the conference.
Okay.
I think the record shows that they are one of the better teams. I am just not ruling out. I don't think they're better than the New York Knicks. Right now, that team is literally clicking on a lot of cylinders right now. The Knicks are 12-6. Liking what Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson is doing. Karl Anthony Towns is playing out of his mind, except I think a couple of days ago, was it yesterday against Milwaukee. But like I said earlier, and I predicted, he would be in the MVP category. MVP talk, and he is. He's playing on that level. He's very consistent with it right now. Brunson is playing pretty consistent, but I think the cast that they have, Miles Bridges, Josh Hart, Anonymous who's out for a little bit, and also Deuce McBride is definitely helping this team out. They're making it easier on Jalen Brunson. He's not asked to drop 35 or 40 a game. So I think the Knicks are still the best team in the East. I think the Pistons are a close second. A team that we probably both didn't have, I'm pretty sure we can look at the rankings, that's playing actually extremely well, is the Toronto Raptors. With this team that they have, we knew what Brandon Ingram was going to be or what he can be. And he looks like he's coming to that person now. You're pairing him with Scotty Barnes. Now you're looking at a pretty good 1-2 punch, adding in the menu quickly. So I think the Raptors are pretty good as well. But I think that the Knicks are the best team in the East. but the Pistons are a close second.
I think I don't know. They've been playing so well. They like going back to the last game against the Saturday against the Heat. And I know we didn't tweet from the page much Saturday. Excuse us, but hey, Iron Bowl happened. You watching for the FSU and worry about y'all new head coach.
Yes.
It's just like football. It sort of took a back seat. But shout out to Con Knippel to being a godsend for Hornets. Anyways, that matchup against Miami, they snapped Miami's 6-game winning streak. Kay Cunningham, 29 points in that matchup, 8 assists, 8 turnovers. That's not a great look, but 26 points for Tobias Harris. So every once in a while, you need games like him to kind of keep things even kill for that team. Dr. Robinson had 18 points. No Jalen Duren in that matchup. He was out. But, like I always talk about this team, always kind of like some, I don't say unsung hero, but some couple of dudes that just kind of like rise up and play well. Ron Holland, 10 points off the bench. Paul Reed, 13-10 off the bench. Dennis Jenkins, guard for St. John's. He's been getting consistent time, 9 points for him. Jane Ivey, slowly getting back to things from injury. 9 points for him. So this team, despite the injuries kind of in and out early in the season, they still finding ways to win. And, the depth that they built up for the past few drafts kind of really playing the fold. I know NBA, I think the NBA, I saw like a week or so ago, the NBA Facebook page highlighted how this team was built up on this stuff through the draft and trades and stuff like that. And I read it through here, but they doing a hell of a good job. It took a while, but they're doing a hell of a good job. So, to me, I'll go opposite of you. I think they are the best team in the East right now. Just because, injuries, they still pushing through. They're persevering through. And they're playing very well. I think they found something, all these guys. I think they all have a common goal. And I think, they really benefit from it. They struggled together, as we highlighted here before. But also they show growth from that as well. So you really can't take that away from them. Like, they were in the dumps. They were at the longest losing streak in their career, that franchise's history. You can't get no lower than that. Now, okay, we got past that. We took our lumps there. Now we're kind of finding ourselves. Now we're kind of looking around the league, and the other teams are that supposed to be contenders ain't really showed up yet. If you look at the standings right now, pull right here, Philly slowly kind of bounced back, but they're 10-8 right now. Joel Embiid's in and out the lineup. Your Orlando Magic, we'll talk more in about a second, but 12-8, but Paolo Banchero's out. Atlanta, Trae Young is out. Porzingis is in and out the lineup with wherever illness he got going on. So, Milwaukee, Giannis is there, but the supporting cast sucks ass.
Yes.
And then Boston, Chicago in somewhere in rebuild mode. Boston, we know about them, Tatum, all that stuff. But you kind of, looking at some of the contenders and stuff like that, it's like, okay, they kind of roll some ashes. And, the other thing I didn't kind of see up there with them is the Toronto Raptors. I, for one, didn't see that. they lost to the Charlotte Hornets the other night. Scotty Barnes had an excellent game, 30 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. And Ingram, 22 points for him. And quickly, like you mentioned, 22 and 10 assists right there as well. And then, but like I always say about Continental, and we say into the draft, great pickup for them and kind of like a godsend for that franchise because Brandon Miller was out, but this kid really kind of picked up the slack and really kind of kept things here with this team. Now, got LaMelo Ball trying to ask for a trade. He's not playing fourth quarters, all that good stuff. How you going to, as a franchise for the Hornets, if elevate your play?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what year is LaMelo Ball in? I'm trying to think. What year is he in?
He got to be in. He got to be in what, 7, 6?
Oh, 5 years.
I knew it was somewhere around there.
So we're talking about year 5 of LaMelo Ball experience, and we're still talking about the Hornets being in the mud. And meanwhile, Cade Cunningham had his struggles early in his career, and we're talking about year 4, and they're top of the Eastern Conference right now. So these two dudes are like 1 year apart from each other. I'm talking about draft-wise. One guy on this team here has very long losing streak, all this stuff, had very injury-prone. People writing off like Steph Curry and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you kind of see his play going up, team rising up, stuff like that. They top of the East. Other guy here, very skilled and all that stuff, but it's just been down here compared to the other guy that went to the first playoff last season. So Detroit looks great. We'll talk about more here in a second, but they look great. They play great. When we get to the December D-Log, them not, fall into the trap and stuff like that. Okay, the early season success is great. Now they kind of, stumble a little bit.
I mean, my biggest thing too is, like I said, I think one of the main reasons why I don't have them as the best team is the experience that the Knicks have with one another. You know what I mean? I think they're a team that has a little bit more experience. I think the Pistons are coming. I just feel like this is that same team that we seen from a couple years ago with OKC. Mm-hmm. It was like, yeah, this team's gonna be solid. We've seen it come together, and they still were a good team. It's just it wasn't the best when it came to playoff times. They just didn't get it done. Then now look at them. Clearly, that'll be our next topic. Obviously, is the OKC is one of the better teams in the West in the NBA, and we've seen this a few years ago. So I think the Pistons are there. I do love what Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren are together. They just got Tobias Harris back. Isaiah Stewart is playing exceptionally well from time to time. They got a couple of key guys back, like you said, throughout injuries that they had to deal with. Now, how do they deal with this rotation? How do they put this rotation together? So that's going to be very interesting. But again, I think it's very hard to go against the Knicks for me. But the Pistons are a close second.
And we'll go ahead and talk about this team here, the OKC Thunder. And one of the main things that, for them that came about this in their return, Jalen Williams made his long-awaited season debut for the Thunder on Friday, November 28th, against the Phoenix Suns, helping the team secure its 11th straight win. So we're talking about Phoenix Suns team that has really come on to late, playing pretty well after starting the season kind of rocky there. But, we got this OKC team that's just playing out of their freaking minds. And so much so, right now, they're in a tight contest with the Portland Trailblazers, 119 to 112 right now as we speak. SGA, 24 points for him. Chet Holmgren, 19 and 9 for him. No Isaiah Hartenstein tonight. Jalen Williams in 33 minutes of action, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks for him as well. So it looks like they're going to win another game here if they hold out in the next 20 seconds. D-Lock, this team will probably be 20-1 when we get done this conversation. Jalen Williams, all-NBA player, one of the better two-way players in the NBA. We're going to be real about that.
Mm-hmm.
What does his return signal for the OKC Thunder and the league as well?
This team is clearly the best team in the NBA right now. There's nobody, I don't think, close to this team. That just signal more depth, which is great for them. Now you got another, I guess you could say, your point guard, your point forward. We already see SGA doesn't even play the fourth quarter that much. He's usually out majority of the time because of they got this lead or they got these other guys that come in. Now they already got, I think it's Donnie Mitchell. Did I say his name right? Johnny Mitchell.
Let me double check that.
I might be getting him mixed up with Donnie Mitchell who plays for the Jets who scored a touchdown today. But
I think it says AJ Mitchell.
AJ Mitchell. So they got a lot of these guards. Yep. You got a lot of these guards that come in for SGA already. So he's not even the usage on his body. The usage is not necessarily needed for SGA right now. Now you're bringing in Jalen Williams to come back, who we know is also going to come in and spare some of those minutes as well. This team, the thing that it screams for this team is health. That's the word I'm looking at, health and longevity, meaning that, you're not looking at 7, 8 guys who are going to play 35 plus minutes, which is what we're used to seeing from the New York Knicks for a few years with Tibbs. This team is not going to do that. As long as they are winning games, they're competitive, or at the top, they can rotate these guys and get a lot of these guys minutes. Now that's going to shorten down when playoffs come around, which is down the road, months from now. But now health is the biggest bonus with this. Jalen Williams comes back healthy. Now you don't have to rely so much on SGA to do so much. Already didn't need that. Now you got these other guys, Kason Wallace, Caruso, all these other guys that can come in and play a huge part. I think Hartenstein missed the most recent game, not today, but I think yesterday. He might have been out today as well. But now Chet Holmgren will come in and get you what you need. You got the other teams who can come in. So this team has the depth. So this team is already loaded. You know what I mean? They already got a lot of stuff. Now they're just continuing to stay healthy. Now the biggest thing too is the Clippers are trash right now.
I'll talk about this last week.
Now because of that, they have to give their first round pick, I believe, is given to OKC. We're talking about a possible lottery pick go to possibly the repeating NBA champs. Now,
the Dapper Dandies, man, they.
So we're already talking about a team that got a hell of a lot of draft picks, but now you're giving them another. So in my mind, what do they do? This roster is already solid. They probably don't really need to add any more pieces right now. I mean, looking at it, I really don't see what else they can add right now. They're loaded at guard. They got the forwards. Maybe a big.
That's if I said last week discussing the Clippers' future and stuff like that. Is like if that pick lands in the top, I just threw out this scenario like top 2, and you say you get the chance to land Cameron Boozer.
Yeah.
Just imagine the lineups you can do with him. SGA, Jalen Williams.
Yes.
Boozer at that 4, and then you interchange, Hartenstein and Holmgren at the 5. And Boozer, if we can be real about it, he's more of a bruiser down low than Holmgren is. That's how his weight and stuff like that. But any of those guys we talked about past couple weeks ago, the freshmen and stuff like that, if they could get any of those guys in that fold and they develop nicely, we're talking about OKC for a good stretch.
Yeah, and that's my. This team could be good for a long time, a very long time, and main reason why I said it goes back to the key word I said, and it's health, because you already got the depth. If you can add another person in, you're just helping the health that this team needs. We always talk about teams possibly repeating any sport. We talk about 2 things when it comes to that: college football, NFL, college basketball, anything. College basketball is probably a hell of a lot harder because you have a team that'll go to the NBA, to the college, the tournament, and then all 5 would leave. Go to the NBA. Cool. College football, they're probably bringing back a lot of those guys, more likely. NFL, bringing back NBA. 2 things that we always talk about. Can a team stay healthy?
Mm-hmm.
And can they, what's the phrase I'm looking for, deal with the pressure from other teams and the attention they're going to get from being champs the year before? Right now, OKC is doing both very well.
Yes.
Right now, we know that they're the best team. They won the NBA championship last year. They don't look distracted. To be honest with you, I don't know if you've seen a lot. I haven't seen that many commercials with any OKC Thunder on there. I've probably seen a few. Obviously, we've seen 2K26 drop with SGA. Got it.
They had that AT&T commercial they ran to death during the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
With the 3 guys, Williams, Holmgren, and SGA. But that's the only thing I really saw.
Yeah.
Unless they do stuff local, and we know that happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even when a team does turn into the champs in any sport, we see that team be on every TV commercial that comes around. We haven't seen that with OKC. So cool. They're dealing with the pressure and the expectation. They're damn 20-1. And 2, how many big injuries are we seeing this team have? They don't have that many big injuries. And the one guy that they want to keep the healthiest is not even playing that much in the 4th quarter. So now, and this is before Jalen Williams gets on the court. So now you add that in, you're looking at a possible, okay, this team can manage and continue to stay healthy throughout the season. That's the end goal for this team when it comes to just the season before playoffs, because they're 20-1. They're going to make the playoffs without question. They're 20-1. They're more likely going to be the best team in the conference and the NBA. Simple. They want to be healthy when the NBA playoffs start. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'm getting from Jalen Williams coming back is, listen, now these minutes that they were giving in these rotations, now you could dim it down a little bit. Instead of Caruso getting maybe 25, 26 minutes, you could chop him down about 21, 22. Instead of SGA having maybe 32, 33 minutes, you know what? I could chop him down about 29, 30, maybe 28. So now you're saving his body, the usage, until the NBA playoffs. And that's what we talked about with Tibbs for years. No matter where he goes, he does the opposite. These teams look very good, even back when he was with the Bulls. Looked like one of the best teams in the East. We thought this team was good to go. They get in the playoffs, body's dead tired. This dead tired or hurt. These are the things that OKC is trying to avoid. And when you add in a player like a Jalen Williams, who we know what he is, it helps that out throughout the whole season.
I'll add this. This team couldn't start off better than they. I mean, you couldn't script a better opening to the season.
Mm-hmm.
So you can winning streak after winning streak. You only have one loss to your name thus far in the season. And the score finally went final, so they beat the Blazers 123-115. SGA finished with 26 points and 5 assists. Holmgren, 19 points, 9 rebounds for him. AJ Mitchell, when we talk about 17 points for him, 5 rebounds, 5 assists as well. So, and then Isaiah Joe, 15 points for him off the bench and 4 rebounds. The other Jalen Williams, the one that always laughed behind SGA and stuff like that, skinning and grinning, he had 4 points and 6 rebounds and 2 blocks for him. And then Kenrich Williams, 8 points for him off the bench, 2 for 2 for 3-point land, 3 rebounds for him. So I'm just reading up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just reading off the stats for the bench guys here.
Mm-hmm.
The bench guys. No Isaiah Hartenstein, no Caruso playing tonight. The bench guys. This is how deep the OKC Thunder is. This is why they're 20-1 right now as we speak. And getting Jalen Williams back into the fold of things with their top production right now and them not fully healthy, it's a scary thing for the whole league. We talked a little bit about Detroit. Playing very well, the guys going in and out the lineup. Happy for them there. But they still got a lot of work to do. This team here, we kind of seen the results of a well-oiled machine. And kind of, what this new CBA and all this stuff dream scenario is for most teams if they get things right, drafting wise, signing the right guys to extensions, all that type of stuff. This is the dream. This is the kind of like the groundwork here. I talked about last week. We get the Thunder got very lucky, like a butterfly flag. Okay, Kawhi want to go back home to LA. Now you turn around. He wanted somebody to come along. Convince Paul George. Paul George left. And then you happen to get your franchise SGA in that trade and the whole load of draft picks. And those draft picks over the years have helped you build this team along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Another butterfly effect, in a sense. I thought about this. And I talk about Chris Paul's, retirement. Trading Russ away for Chris Paul. And getting Chris Paul in there to kind of help SGA along the way, kind of helped him in his progress. That 1 year OKC, if you really think about it.
Mm.
And also, you remember they almost took the Rockets to 7 during the bubble. A lot of folks kind of forget that. And I think this is why I said last week, like Chris Paul is the first ballot Hall of Famer in my eyes, because that 1 year OKC kind of highlights his career. Like everywhere he goes, he upgrades the team.
Yes.
Then of course after that, things change. The team bottomed out for a few years, and then we see what the results are now today. But this team is very special. This team and this current CBA and all this stuff can do a lot of things. And they should take advantage of that right now as they currently constructed. Now, as we talk about draft picks and stuff like that, there's going to come a time when the money and all that stuff kind of come to play and the tax aprons, all that stuff, who do you get rid of? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Like, after a while, like, okay, who do we get rid of? Who we get to stick around? Who wants to leave to be their own man? So, I mean, as great they play now, but those questions going to be circling around the block here, and I say a couple years from now, not now, but a couple years from now, and those questions be circling around the block. So, okay, what's this team going to do? Okay, with this high draft, draft lottery pick from the Clippers, they found this big time max money to these 3 guys. What are they going to do about that? How do you keep all the salary above going? All that stuff. So I'll let you have the last word on the Thunder real quick.
I mean, I think the like you said, they set this team up for great success. I definitely would applaud the Clippers for that. I would have them have a huge part of it because, without that Paul George trade, who knows? But you have your young pieces, and they're gonna do their part. You got your team that your guys that are gonna be the main focus of your team. You got SGA and Jalen Williams and Chet. That's gonna be your 3. You know what I mean? Those guys are gonna be there. Now, do you convince some to take less money to stay? Possibly, depending on how many championships you're looking at winning and where they are. But there's some of these other rotational guys would probably be moved on, depending on how they draft. Huge credit to Chris Paul because of the mentorship that he gave to somebody like an SGA. I think that played a huge role as well. But again, I think the Thunder are set up perfectly, man. I mean, you got your MVP for a long time, and your core guys. And biggest thing they want to do now is stay healthy.
Yep.
And there's few ways to do that. Obviously, you can't control it all the time. About injuries, but the way you do that is get a great rotation. Your roster should have a hell of a good guys to rotate, and that's why we're seeing literally a lot of people put on Twitter or X that SGA is averaging 30-some points a game, and he's not even in the fourth quarter that much. And that's huge credit to him, but also huge credit to that staff, huge credit to the team, because now those other guys got to come in. AJ Mitchell is playing out of his mind. You know what I mean? Caruso comes in and does what he does when he needs to. Kason Wallace when he gets the chance. These guys are coming in and they're capitalizing on the opportunity that they get. So you want to have that core. And that's the thing that this team has is they have a very good core, but they also have a hell of a bench too. You know what I mean? There's very few teams that we've seen that had that to where they had 2 or 3 guys and you could take them off the court and their bench players are coming in keeping that same energy. So when you do build like that, now you can stay healthy at the right time because it's in the NFL where you just have one game in the playoffs. You got at least 4 games. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to be healthy throughout those games. And the biggest thing is they're doing this on the West, which we know we always talk about is way tougher than the East. So big credit to the Thunder, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, I'm interested to see what happens later on this season, but also I want to know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 plus years from now. How does this team look? How many rings are they in? Do we talk about this team possibly being a dynasty? So many questions are going to be answered.
And then our next segment, after we take a break here, we will talk about the Suns in that matchup in the Cup against the Thunder. So we'll talk about that next segment. Josh Ritter. Hey, man, I don't know who you are, but we ain't homeless. All right. I saw that coming. I'm like, dog, we ain't homeless. Like, dog, like.
Big troll.
I mean, I know it's a troll, but damn, I mean, I got this setup right here. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's work in progress, but I got records here, man. I ain't homeless. Culture Club, Ready for the World, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I got my record sets and stuff like that, man. I don't know. We looking at it and saying we're homeless. So, I will show you the rest of this room, but I ain't gonna do that. But come on.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn drawer right here. But anyways, regardless of that, I had to get that out of the way. But after the other side of things, we'll talk about the NBA Cup, the knockout round, who comes out on top, plus the players era. I like the money they get for the players, but they got a lot of things to work on to make the tournament better. But this is Fast Break here for IE Sports Radio. Usually follow sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Man, I was in there worrying about the damn homes, man. I forgot to run the ticker right here during that commercial break. So, anyway, if you heard that on that commercial break right there, do follow IE Sports Radio on all your social media feeds: X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell notification. Once we go live, you'll get that alert. So please hit that subscribe button. I think we were still on the road. Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. So on the road to 500. So we're working on that. Progress is being made. So do follow on all social media feeds. Got the new logo as well. So new IE Sports logo looks very beautiful. I love it. It's cool, tight. Kind of looks like a professional sports team. So I love the logo that Larry B did. Looks awesome. So we're kicking ass, taking names here at IE Sports Radio. But as we move forward, D-Locke. The NBA Group Cup stage is just wrapped and the quarterfinals are locked in. Let's start in the East real quick. You got the Knicks v. Raptors, and you got the Heat versus the Magic. Now, I'll let you go first. Out of the East part of things, who do you got coming out on top?
To be honest with you, I really like what the Raptors look like. They look very good. I think they've been shocking all of us. I don't think we had this team being this good so early, especially with the team that they had. We knew the inconsistency of Brandon Ingram. Quickly being there, we wanted to see how that was going to work with him and Scotty Barnes. They are another team that has a pretty solid core. But I think the biggest thing is between them and the Knicks. The thing that the Knicks do have is they have bigs over Toronto. I think that's going to play a huge role. I think the Knicks do prevail over Toronto. I think that Scottie Barnes is going to give the Karl-Anthony Towns hell just because he is that power guard. You know what I mean? He can literally walk the ball down the court at any point. But I think the Knicks are just too – their chemistry is just too well right now. Jakob Poeltl and them other bigs are not going to do anything with Karl-Anthony Towns and the rest of those guys. I just don't see it. So I got the Knicks beating the Raptors. For the Magic and the Heat. This is a tough matchup for me because I'm a big Magic fan. This is basically the battle of Florida, battle for the state of Florida. Two very solid teams who, to be honest, I don't think we had the Heat being this good right now at this moment. Bam is playing extremely well, him coming back, and especially with Khalil Ware. They've been doing their thing, and now that Tyler Hero's back in the fold with Andrew Wiggins and the rest of these guys, they have that rotation. They're going to be very tough because they have that rotation. Tyler Hero, we obviously know, can get hot at any point, especially not having him and Davion Mitchell and the rest of those guys there. The thing about the Magic, I really like my Magic. I think Desmond Bane is starting. We talked about it before. Desmond Bane was cold for a little minute. Now he woke up. You know, he's playing pretty good. Jalen Suggs sometimes takes some times off, but I think he's a guy that's going to be consistent, play a huge role in Franz Wagner. Tristan DeSelva is also coming in. He's playing pretty good. Wendell Carter as well. But I cannot take them over the Heat because they do not have Paolo Banchero. I think they're missing a key piece. And I just don't see this team being able to beat a team that is as loaded as the Heat are right now. I mean, their guys are playing pretty well. Norman Powell. This mix is different than the Heat team that we've seen in the past, but they got a good group of guys that can score at any point, and they got, I think, really two good big men down there, Khalil Ware and Bam. So I'm gonna take the Heat in this one. It's hard for me to say that. The Heat is gonna win this one. I know Desmond Bane can get hot, but it's just relying on him and Wagner to battle against the Heat. I'm not too much of a fan of. Now I go to between the Knicks and the Heat. I think this is a hell of a matchup also. The biggest thing that the Heat are benefiting from now is health. Now they're getting healthy. Tyler Hero's back. They have the rotational guys. I think Norman Powell, obviously, they got so many shooters over there. Andrew Wiggins can come down and play defense at any point. But for me, I got the Heat winning in the East.
Okay.
Different. Like I said, I did say earlier that the Knicks, I feel like, is the best team in these. I just feel like, those bigs down there for the Heat is going to cause problems for Mitchell Robinson, who's barely playing. He's probably like getting maybe 20 minutes at max sometimes, and Karl-Anthony Towns. I think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to run into a situation where he's battling both bigs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be where it's going to take a toll on him. I mean, we know what Bam is. I mean, what he can be. We just seen Karl-Anthony Towns going against Milwaukee with Giannis playing, and we see how that planned out. Miles Turner and Giannis and Bobby Portis gave some kind of issues for him. Now, unless Mitchell Robinson can come out and pop one of the best games he's ever had, I think that's going to be the big difference. Guard-wise, I think these teams match up. They have the depth. They have the defenders also. Wiggins is a hell of a defender when he wants to be. I just think that there's only one Karl-Anthony Towns on this team compared to what the Heat got. So I got the Heat coming out of the East.
Real quick for me, this Raptors team is like not one guy sticks out. if you catch my drift.
Mm-hmm.
Not one guy sticks out. They play pretty well, consistent. Now, granted, they played the Knicks today, and they got beat down 116-94. Quickly had 19 points in that matchup. Barnes 18 points, Ingram 14. The bench, Murray Bowles 11 points, 8 rebounds for him off the bench. I'm just gonna call this dude Mr. Sandro. Mr. Sandro had 9 points and 7 rebounds. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name. And then no RJ Barrett, no Jacob Bartelling. Shout out to Chucky Hebron. He got some minutes in there as well. The Knicks, like you mentioned about Towns, 22, 8 points, 8 rebounds for him. Josh Hart almost had a triple-double, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. Also 3 steals for him as well. Jordan Clarkson, 13 points off the bench for him in this matchup as well. Mitch Robinson had 15 rebounds as well, so he contributes something. I know he don't like his teammates' choice of music and stuff like that. Man, I don't know if you saw that or not, but somebody screenshot his Instagram post that he's tired of listening to DMX in the locker room and wants some Morgan Wallen. It's like, dog.
That man said change it up.
To Morgan Wallen. Oh, man. Hey, man, you got to do that on your own time, then.
Yeah.
I was like, dog, you in New York, play for the Knicks. Dog, ain't no trying to listen to Morgan Wallen. I don't think they got a white dude on the squad anyways. You have you back up. But anyways, moving along. To this matchup. If Barrett and Potel not playing, and you got the bigs for the Knicks playing, and they rebounding very well, I think the Knicks should handle this. But I don't know. Something about this Raptors team is just like they sneak up on you. They play well. Give me the Knicks, but they win by 5. I don't know the final score, but Emmanuel quickly will have a big game in that matchup and lose an effort. So give me the Knicks in that one. But quickly have a strong game. If RJ Barrett is back by this time, and by the way, these games start on December 9th and the 10th. So about a good ways away. So we'll see about those matchups. But give me the Knicks in that matchup. This one, the Heat and the Magic. Let me ask you this about the Magic. Some people are saying, if efficient-wise and analytic-wise, they've been playing better without Paolo.
Mm-hmm.
Like you alluded to about Desmond Bane. He's really starting to get his footing with the team. Your rebuttal to that?
I would say they're playing consistent without. But this team is not better without Banchero. I think he's the guy on the team. I think he's the one that will keep this team going when we need him later on in the season. They have the chemistry, but another person that they're not talking about that's missing a lot of games is Jalen Suggs.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to say that this team looks like they're playing pretty well without Banchero. You might want to add Jalen Suggs in as well because he's taking off a game every other game, right? That's why we're starting to see Desmond Bane wake up and cook how he's been cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're seeing more of Tyus Jones a little bit more, and also Anthony Black. So I feel like we also got to add in not only Banchero, but he add in Jalen Suggs as well. But this team is the expectation to go far in the playoffs is not happening without Banchero.
Let's see. Very tough to say. This team, when they last played, they played the Pistons and won that game by 3 points. Bane had 37.
Mm-hmm.
Jet Howard didn't play despite playing very strong for the past few games. Not concerning, but like damn, the dude been scoring pretty well. Why you icing him, not playing him? But anyways. I know Tyler Hero's back. It's tough to gauge. And I know we're like a week away or so. But I'm gonna roll with your Orlando Magic on this one. I think one thing in this matchup they got going in favor. Wagner's got to show up a little bit more. And then I think some of these role guys like De Silva, who plays pretty solid.
Yes.
That's one guy that bench or he in starting role, he plays solid for the Magic. Anthony Black, I expected more out of him when he came out of Arkansas. I thought about this time now, he should be the team starting point guard. But he's playing pretty nice in his role as well. But I just think Radner and Bane got strong games. And I think if Wendell Carter can manipulate well enough against the bigs for the Magic, against the Heat, I think they'll go a long way. So I'll take your Orlando Magic in that matchup. I think the only reason they would lose, as we've been seeing, like Andrew Wiggins popping off, Norman Powell continuing his strong play, and then Tyler Hero catch a heater. If those things happen, then he easily win. And Dan Adebayo, he would have to do much to just do a solid 10-10 and keep things rolling. But then you want to talk about the finals in that matchup. The Magic, Knicks by Eastern Conference preview. I'm rolling with the Knicks on that one. That hopefully by that when those games happen, guys will be healthy and stuff like that. Mitchell Robinson will be healthy. He don't get hurt sometime from this point here to there, all that stuff. OG will be back solid, good to go, and all that stuff. But I'll take the Knicks in the matchup. Brunson by a big, strong game. And we're talking about these games are now in Vegas. Different atmosphere and stuff like that. So I think Brunson will have a big matchup there for the East Finals and whatnot. And to the chat real quick, the Magic can win a game too, but not a series. They ain't built like that.
Oof.
Your reaction to those comments?
Well, I think the reason why that's said is because you don't have Banchero. So what we're looking at is a team that is getting some wins, but yes, they could win a win or two. But to go in and get a 4 games out of a 7-game series, you're gonna have to have your full group. You know what I mean? I think Jalen Suggs taking off a game or two, like I said, is playing a huge role as well. Your guys got to be healthy for a 6 or 7 game series. We talk about a lot with Joel Embiid. This is something that we've historically talked about. We talk about this with Kawhi Leonard. So to me, I agree. I think that they can win a game or two with the team that they have right now. You're not gonna have just Silva starting 7 games out of a series, and expecting him for y'all to win that series. That's not happening. You're not going in this a first round of the playoffs to say, okay, the Silver, you're gonna give us 30+ minutes. That ain't happening. Especially against the teams like the Detroit Pistons, Toronto, who is playing good, New York. You know what I mean? Miami Heat. You put them these one game and one off can work now, but when you get in a 7-game season, you're gonna need a Banchero. You're gonna need a consistent Banchero. You're gonna need a consistent Wagner. You're gonna need a consistent Jalen Suggs. This is why they brought Desmond Bane in. These are the guys that you're gonna need consistent. So what you're seeing is a team right now that has a good chemistry with the guys that they need in rotation. But now when you get your 3 guys, or your 4, they got to play extremely well. Now, I think the thing is that may possibly hurt the Magic is where are they behind Wendell Carter? I like Goga, but how do I see him pairing up against a team that has 2 or 3 bigs? So that they look to add on to that. But agree, this is a win a game or 2 roster right now. But when you put Banchero on there and you have a fully healthy Jalen Suggs, I beg to differ.
So hopefully Marcus will hear that and have a good rebuttal. We'll wait on that right quick. Let's go to the West real quick, D-Lock, to Western part of things.
Ooh.
We talked about the Thunder earlier in the show. They played the Suns in that matchup. Who do you got there to move on?
You know what? I think I'll start with Lakers and Spurs game first. I think that's easier for me to pick.
Really?
I got the Lakers over the Spurs. Right now, the Lakers, that 3 that they have, they're starting to look scary. Even though it hasn't been that many games just yet. But Austin Reeves, Luka, and LeBron looks like a very dangerous combination right now. Victor, if Victor was playing, I would have a different thought process behind this. Luke Cornett, cool, but he's not going to do anything to DeAndre Ayton. I think the Lakers have a good group that those 3, I think that's, in my opinion, that's your 3 all-stars right there. And LeBron, yes, I said it, Austin Reeves is an all-star. And Luka, those guys are playing extremely well. So for me, I would definitely have the Lakers going. And for the Thunder and the Suns, this is a tougher one because the Suns are actually playing pretty good with the team that they have. I think they shocked a lot of people. Now, I don't think they're beating the Thunder. That team is, I think that Dylan Brooks is a hell of a defender. They got a couple pieces over there. But the one thing that I'm noticing with the Suns right now is Devin Booker does a lot, but he's not. They got a lot of guards over there that they playing. A lot. Gillespie, Jordan Goodwin, Grayson Allen. They have a few ball handlers on this team. So I think that they have the depth, like I said, very similar to the Thunder. Not as talented, but they have depth there. Problem is, Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein, that's too much for Mark Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And now Jalen Williams coming back in the fold. I just think that the Thunder is the better team. And now we get to the Lakers and the Lakers and the Thunder, which could possibly be a Western Conference matchup. But I'm not gonna leave Denver Nuggets out. This is a tough one because I'm a huge LeBron fan. This is a hell of a matchup, SGA versus Luka. But I'm taking the Thunder in this. it comes down to, again, they got the guards. I think SGA and Luka's a match. Austin Reeves, I think he's probably up there as one of the better players in this matchup. But the Thunder are just too deep. They have too much on this team. This is what I mean by resting. This is what I mean by your bench can come in and keep that same energy. I think the Thunder have that over the Lakers. Lakers have a pretty decent roster as well. It's just that we've seen this same exact team go win the NBA Finals last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to go against that because of how this team is looking, the confidence that they have, and the rotation, even with the bigs. You got Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. I think that's going to cause major issues for the Lakers. So, for me, I think it's a hell of a matchup. Also, I think it plays a part on where we see LeBron in his fitness. You know what I mean? Do we see him being the LeBron that we're consistently seeing? Right now, he's getting there. You know what I mean? It's going to take some time, but I think if this game or right now, like, is leaning a lot on Austin Reeves and Luka, I don't see them being in it with OKC. But that team, that Lakers are coming. I definitely believe that. I definitely can see it. I just think the Thunders are too much. They take their win, and they go to the NBA Cup.
Real quick for me, and I'll go back to earlier comment back in the show. Josh Ritter brought up, can the Suns shock the world and beat the Thunder in the Cup? Probably not, but a guy can dream. Well, here's the thing with the Thunder. Jalen Williams coming back with this team, how they've been playing, was like an added bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, the big man for OKC seems like every once in a while, every couple games, so they out with the injury or something. Hartenstein, Holmgren, they always seem like one or two guys are out, with the injury. Yeah, has it really affected them in their play? Hell no. But sometimes, every once things like that should creep up on you. So come December 9th, we'll see if those guys will be healthy, but I got the Thunder winning. But if you're a Suns fan, hopefully by that time, your big man rotation gets a little bit better, and they're playing very small ball. They got also Igar. Man, I ain't gonna pronounce this name.
It's tough. I know.
Hardero for Marquette. Yes, I know he's a 6'11" dude, but during the offseason, you draft a guy in the first round in the lottery. You trade for two big men from Charlotte, but you playing you're a second round pick in the starting lineup. Something wrong with that pitcher. And I know Mark went and all y'all folks talking about the Lakers need big and stuff like that. Mark Williams is hurt. So the Lakers skated by on that one. And then let Phoenix, seeing the results of that. Nick Richards only played 7 minutes in this matchup against the Nuggets yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a Phoenix Suns fan. Hopefully your big man rotation gets better in the matchup against the Thunder by this time. But I just think in the way they've been playing, it's gonna be tough. It'll be tough ass if they're gonna beat them. I think the only way they can beat them is like get SGA in foul trouble. Maybe trying to get those bigs in trouble. Maybe trying to go deep in the bench for OKC, but those bench guys, OKC play very damn well, and it's gonna be tough out. It's going to be a very tough bout. But I got the Thunder win in that matchup there. Now, let me get off this comment real quick. Sorry. Lakers and Spurs.
Ooh.
I don't think, let me check up on Victor Wembanyama. I don't think he won't be back yet.
I think recently, I don't know if he will be.
So I don't think Victor will be back in this time for the Lakers matchup. Luka's been playing very well. They played the Pelicans tonight. LeBron's not playing tonight. But JJ Redick said his minutes and stuff like that and playing back-to-backs. They're working the test on that as well. Austin Reeves has been playing phenomenal this year. And the asking price for him keeps going up. So the Lakers got a lot of questions about their future in the offseason. And speaking of Lakers' future and all this stuff in the offseason, the Bus siblings, Jenny got two of them out the paint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw this or not. Speaking of the Lakers, Joey and Jesse Bus were let go from their front office positions. Yes, they got the new low ownership, but I said this on X when that happened. Jesse Bus, if some of y'all don't know, he was the one that worked in the scouting department, ran that, and did a very fine job finding guys like Caruso, Austin Reeves, maybe like second round picks like Jordan Clarkson, those type of guys. He was finding those type of dudes running the scouting and stuff like that. And the Lakers let him go. Why? I don't know. I know new ownership want their changes and stuff like that. Hey, all cool. But if you had to keep one sibling around, I thought that would be the one. But just Bush, if you happen to see this, hey man, I think you can get a gig anywhere else. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. I'm talking to you. Hey man, you smart enough, you could be a GM. That's my opinion. I thought you should be GM. That's just my take. But anyways, getting off that. Back to this matchup. No Victor, so you're driving the paint ability is way better when Victor's not down there. So Luka's playing very well. I know De'Aaron Fox is back in the fold of things. Dylan Harper's back in the fold of things as well. I got the Lakers winning that matchup just because of Luka and Austin Reeves playing very well. Now, you get to the final part of the Western Conference. Thunder, Lakers. The last time these two teams met, the Thunder just bitch slapped them in the first half. Like, the Thunder put 70 plus, and the Lakers put, I think, like 40 something in that first half. I don't think that will happen again. Let me get my date right. On December 13th. But the Thunder will win that matchup against the Lakers.
Yeah.
And we got a matchup of the Thunder and the Knicks in the finals, in which we'll dive in more to that when that happens. But it's just like you can't bet against OKC. If you betting in Vegas and stuff like that, and wherever the line is, you taking OKC for majority of bets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying the Lakers can't beat the Thunder. They can. And all that stuff. And they didn't have LeBron that matchup. But sometimes if you can get ahead of the Lakers and outmaneuver them and stuff like that, stifle them this well enough, I mean, you can beat them. You know, those bench guys for the Lakers or those role players ain't playing good for the Lakers, then just put a bow on that. Rui Hachimura ain't scoring well. Gabe Vincent ain't give you nothing. Lavario ain't give you nothing. Then that's a wrap for the Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Vanderbilt, he's out of rotation right now. You know, Bronny should stay at USC. You know, that's really about it. So I think the cup, the final teams in this cup are fascinating.
Yes.
Only because two of the teams are top of the West. One is missing their franchise player in Victor, and the other team, the Suns, are playing very good basketball.
Chemistry wise, too, without Jalen Green.
And that's another thing. Jalen Green missing time, stuff like that. But other guys that really kind of step up. The Gillespie kid playing very well. So I gotta get that shout out to him because he's playing very well. Had some very clutch moments for the Phoenix Suns. And, you know, they played really elevated when these other guys get chances and stuff like that. But I'll let you have the last word real quick.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for me with the Suns too is you're seeing Gillespie play a lot, but Jalen Green isn't there. So I did think Grayson Allen did come back, so I think Gillespie minutes probably went down a little bit. But when Jalen Green does come back, I think this team is going to be a hell of a lot better. But they're not. I don't think. I think they're playing very consistent. I just don't know if they're among these other three teams. Now, you know, Russ O'Neal could play some great defense. A couple of these guys are doing what they're doing, but for me, the Suns are fine. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, you ain't really seeing Devin Booker go, you know, crazy like that with this team because they got these guards in rotation. We're seeing Jordan Goodwin play a hell of a lot. You know, Dillon Brooks does come and bring that defense along with Russ O'Neal. So I like this Suns team, but I would definitely like them better if Jalen Green was out there.
So we'll dissect this more when the games come about. You know, the NBA doing a pretty good job promoting the cup and whatnot, and you know, it's more for the money for the players, especially those role players, stuff like that. Real good chance for those guys to get some extra money in their pocket. Real quick, D-Lock, before we get out of here. The Players Era, tournament William Dubbit happened out in Vegas last week. 18 teams, the champion, the Michigan Wolverines. And by the way, the straight dominance from the Michigan Wolverines. Dusty May and his crew just smacked up fools all throughout the tournament there and whatnot. So congratulations to them in their win in that tournament out in Vegas. But they win that. They're running up Gonzaga. First appearance in the final. And then semifinals, you had Kansas and Tennessee in there as well. That final score of that tournament, 101-61. So you're talking about a Gonzaga, Michigan beating Gonzaga team that, at least you got penciled in as Sweet 16, come March. And they get routed like this. In your eyes, D-Lock, the Players Area is like a tournament, for NIL and stuff like that, for the schools and teams, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Next year, they said they're trying to expand on things and all that. In your eyes, with NIL and you being the college landscape, are we going to see like more tournaments like this for money and stuff like that? Because like Maui happened, but it barely got talked about. Good games, good action. USC won.
Mm-hmm.
Great confidence boosted for them. The battle for Atlantis dead. And that was very fun to watch. And the other tournament's kind of hanging by the thread.
Mm-hmm.
Is the money-making tournaments going to take over these other ones, in your humble opinion?
I would say yes. The reason why is because we hear about NLI and NIL and transfer portal, all these things. This is a totally different game. Totally different NCAA than what it was even 3 years ago. 5 years ago, 10 years ago. One thing that we realized that is playing a huge part is money. Coaches have said it all over the place, different places. Well, hey, this kid loves it here, but they're taking business other places. Money's involved, X, Y, and Z. Cool. A lot of these programs want more money to be invested into their program to where they can use it. So, to me, how do you get that? You get that by different tournaments, and how it's going to benefit each program. How are we going to come out, and how is it going to benefit us? Yes, we're going to, it's going to jeopardize our record. We're going to play a huge part, and where it puts us going into the tournament, different things and such. But having these small tournaments, you're going to have money pots, and where are they going? So because money is involved so much heavily now, you got to have different tournaments. And I was talking to one of my best friends about this. We talk about the college football tournament, college football playoffs. Eventually, it started at 2. Then they put it at, I believe, 4. And then they jumped to 12. Now, I believe at some point they're going to jump to 16. Simply because you're always going to have, you can't make everybody happy. You can't. But what does make a lot of people happy is money and profits. So for me, they want to see what kind of attention, what kind of benefits these schools get, profits they get from these different tournaments. They have these tournaments and say, okay, well, these are the results. This is what we got. Is this a profitable thing for our school, for the attention, for our conference? If it is, they're signed right up for it. So that's the biggest thing that plays a part in this is, I think loyalty was a big thing 10 years ago. But now loyalty is still playing a part, but more money is more involved. How can the program benefit from this? So, we always see the smaller schools play the bigger schools to get a check from the school. That's why we see a USF team beat Florida, and we're like, well, damn, not only did they win on the field, but they won in their pockets too. So they sign up for this. But at the same time, now it's more important now. It's playing a huge part because they got to get this money to go get that big player. They got to go get that Boozer twin to sign a dude. They got to get these kids. I just seen quarterback Sellers for South Carolina do an interview after the game. And they asked him, is he coming back to South Carolina? His answer was, I'm not sure. But when it's time to make the decision, I will know. It's up in the air if he comes back. Now, let's be honest. What's going to play a part in his decision is money. What school can offer him the most money? Yes, you got all these nice places and you got nice facilities, X, Y, and Z. But this is what's offered. So in order to get that pocket pretty heavy, it makes sense to have tournaments and join. Damn, how can I get the Syracuse and the Virginias and Gonzagas and all these people to join these tournaments? Let's see how much this pot they can win.
Mm-hmm.
How many tournaments can we continue to get? So there's a benefit in return. So because it's heavily on what kind of money is being made. I think that you're going to get a lot more tournaments. You're going to get a lot more people investing. You're going to get a lot more people, alumni, people, investors buying in, saying, hey, if we put this tournament together, we all win. So, and it's going to happen not only in college basketball, but I think it's going to happen in other sports. College basketball just was first with the March Madness. March Madness is one of the most known historic tournaments ever. And college football knew that. They see it. So they took a bite of that and said, hey, well, we're going to try to do something similar. We'll put our own spin to it. So now they're seeing the benefit and the profits of it. And they're like, well, damn, let's keep doing this. And in fact, let's add more. So I think that you're going to have these different tournaments going all over the place, especially now that money is more openly given to or you're paid to these players. That's not this restricting thing anymore. Now it's just like, damn, like everybody getting something out of these pockets and there's not that much loyalty. But if I tell a team, hey, we having this tournament, first place is a lump sum of money, a lot of money, 2-3 million, whatever. These teams are, hey, we're definitely going to be a part of that.
Uh-huh.
So now that money does play a part, you're probably going to see a lot more tournaments involved throughout the scheduling of all these college basketball teams.
For me, to talk about the play on the court real quick, Michigan just dominating everybody, and when I talk about dominating everybody, they beat down San Diego State 94-54. They beat down Auburn 102-72. And then, like I said about Gonzaga, 101-61. That's straight domination.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept everybody on 75 points. And I thought about this, like, damn, could you put them over number one over Purdue? I thought about that. I said, nah, keep Purdue there because they deserve it right now. But damn it, those 3 games right there, like, shit. Excuse my language, but you talking about 3 tournament teams right there you beat down in November. I think they deserve consideration to be number one. Now, the next game is December 6th against Rutgers. That should be pretty tough matchup, but they got them at home. So, and they got Villanova after that. So, 2 games right there that they should handle at home. Villanova should be a more tough matchup. But, D-Locke, I'm an Alabama fan, and I alluded to earlier, but it was kind of like I won't say chore to kind of watch those games, but damn, 11 o'clock tip-offs at night, that's a struggle.
Yeah.
11 o'clock my time. I know there were some fans Bama fans at East Coast time there, like, shit, I had to tap out, man. 12 o'clock to watch a Bama game? I can't. Sometimes you can't do it. It's like, but they got and they trying to expand they expanded to 32 teams for next year.
Oof.
So, and I'm reading this article real quick from ESPN.com. Only 24 hours after organizers promised to stick to their current setup, Players Era Festival CEO Seth Berger told ESPN that organizers will consider a new format when the next year's field expands to 32 teams. Berger said organizers rethought their stance following online backlash after Wednesday's matchups weren't announced until after midnight on Eastern Time. Those games were set using a format based on margin of victory, record, AP ranking, head-to-head record, points allowed, and points scored throughout the 2 games in the event. The reality of this is having the humility to listen, Berger told ESPN on Wednesday. That's all it is. We thought we had to come up with the right solution. So, after hearing that, I hope things get resolved. I hope things get better. And then you may have to expand to another site to get these games in an orderly manner. So I think, well, yes, using those things kind of to set up your matchups and stuff like that. But damn it, you kind of mess up everything else up along the run. Now, to this question right here, do the players ever change NIL? Hell yes, it does change NIL. Like you alluded to, you're expanding to 32 teams next season. You already had your heavy hitters out there of Houston, Tennessee, Kansas, Michigan, Gonzaga, San Diego State, Auburn, Alabama. I think I'm missing a few teams out there. UNV, Maryland. Got a lot of heavy hitters out there. That's what I'm saying. You know, next year, who do you expand to? Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, Villanova. I think St. John's was out there this year as well. Texas, Florida. I think with college basketball, I think one thing I think they noticing the big money is going to football. We talked about before the show, like your school in Florida, they just got their new football coach. And then now they're trying to hire a GM, a failed GM in the NFL to run things in the front office. That's the spell doom and gloom there.
Yes.
We see in the LSU, they hired Lane Kiffin and the money they're going to give him. While in the meanwhile, you got to pay the other fool that you let go $54 million over 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn hired a new coach. They are paying 3 coaches right now, ladies and gentlemen. Gus, Brian Harsin, and Hugh Freeze. So if you're a college basketball program, even the top ones, if you can get, besides like Duke, Carolina, which y'all in Kansas and Kentucky, y'all basketball first programs. But for these other schools, where sometimes when we come with your hands up like this, it might not be here for you. It may be for something else. And these tournaments and stuff like this will help with your budget. So I think for the players area, I think a lot more teams, and you will see some more top teams get in on this. In terms of the past, like Maui, Balfour, Atlantis, Charleston tournament. There's another one I think about. The Great Alaska Shootout. I mean, that's been defunct for years, but tournaments like that, all those things kind of come to pass. Like that's going away. Just going to these tournaments to play for sport and whatnot, and tournament rankings and stuff like that. That's done. Now you're playing for rankings and stuff like that in a tournament position, but also you're playing for money now.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you saw the court on the players area. There's like sponsor logos everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even alcohol. So these college basketball teams, you gotta get in when you get in.
Oh yeah. It's a benefit, man. It's what it's doing for not only the sport but the school in general. And that's I think that Alabama has been good in many sports, but they got a huge boost when Nick Saban won a long run of championships.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only is the football team doing their thing, but every sport is benefiting from it. They're getting all this money. They can upgrade the basketball court. They can upgrade the track. They can upgrade the soccer field. They can upgrade all these different things because one sport is being dominant and bringing a lot of revenue. So if you can bring in a lot of revenue in one sport and continue in different sports, that's going to benefit the whole university. And that's how they look at it. Because, like you said, LSU just hired a new coach, but they got to pay their old coach. Florida State hired Mike Norvell, but they're paying, I can't think about dude's name. They're paying the coach.
Oh, Willie?
Yep, still paying him. You're paying these guys, and you want to get a new guy. Now, it's easier said than done, or it's easier when you're winning these championships. Now you're probably not letting go these other coaches. You're getting that money, and you're putting it into other parts of the facilities, or other facilities, stuff like that. So, but because of the sports that we're talking about, we know the ones that make the most money in college sports, college basketball, college football. Those are the ones that are top 1, 2. You probably got maybe baseball, maybe third, probably coming in, maybe soccer in that range, somewhere down there, and it trickles down. Volleyball is somewhere up there for certain schools. But the money that they can bring in is so much. They want to capitalize on that. So the Duke, who's been so good in basketball for a while, UConn, who's been good in basketball, North Carolina, they bring in so much. Michael Jordan, who has invested so much into North Carolina, all these other sports can benefit off of that. Now, obviously, where they get the money from, they're going to benefit the most. We know that. But if you can get revenue coming in all different types of places, that is going to benefit your whole program, your whole university. So that's why when it's a chance to get a tournament where there's possibly a pot that can be grabbed, it's hard to turn it down. Very hard. And that's why, like I said, now you're going to see more tournaments the more people invest in the college sports. And you're getting that because, again, now these kids are getting paid. These rosters are not just recruiting rosters. Some of these rosters, these athletes are making more than the coach.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of before we head off, you had a team like Iowa State that also played very well in the tournament, but they didn't make the finals. They beat St. John's, and they beat Creighton the next day by 18 points. And then they get matched up with Syracuse. They lost 32 games in the tournament, and they beat Syracuse down 95-64. And the reason I bring this up, because the winner of the tournament, Michigan, they earned $1 million in additional NIL compensation, coupled with a $1 million in guarantee for every participant. Y'all heard that correctly. So $1 million for the school and $1 million for every participant. The runner-up receives $500,000. And in third place game between Tennessee and Kansas, those guys got $300,000, and the loser got $200,000. So this is what we're talking about. And you're talking about college athletes here. $1 million in your account like that, if you play well enough in a good 3-game stretch, easy money. In a sense, you get my point. But if that's the incentive, it's like, okay, if I had to beat Michigan, Alabama, and Tennessee to get to $1 million, I'm going to damn sure do it. If I got to beat UNLV, Maryland, and St. John's to do it, damn it, I'm going to do it. And you're going to see possibly more tournaments pop up like this. And more teams try to get in on this.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million?
I mean, I'm telling you, the reason why is because it's I've been in a lot of staff meetings recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I'm giving out any secrets or anything, but the topic is we have to figure out how do we want to get, we have to get some of these top players here. We have to. You got to get these top players here because of what it does for the university. And that's a topic and a discussion that's literally had at every university. Because he's not saying, okay, well, my university at Pitt specifically, we got to do X, Y, and Z. He's just talking about in general. This is the NCAA nowadays. This is what's going on. These is how things are happening. A lot of these athletic directors and these people that represent the schools, they are in the committee with the NCAA. So they've had their meeting with the NCAA. They've talked about different things that are coming about, and that's moving forward. So, again, these tournaments are, like I said, I think they open a can of worms when they start paying athletes. You open up a lot of can of worms then. Because now you do that, now where it's like, well, damn, okay, if that's the case, give us more freedom, let us leave and go to any school we want. So, boom, that happens. So you're getting that. But at the same time, it's a free agency. What we talk about every year, NBA, I don't think baseball does it as much, but NFL, they always have every year they have a cap space, a cap max that they go to. It gets raised every year. College football or college sports does not have that right now. So if you see damn Derrick Henry in his prime in the transfer portal, and you see Arch Manning in his prime, well, I ain't gonna say Arch Manning yet because he ain't. Keep him out there. You put Lamar Jackson in his prime in the transfer portal. You see Derrick Henry in his prime in the NCAA transfer portal. You have all the money that you want to get both. So if Alabama has, throwing a number, $300 million, and Virginia has $100 million, this comes a bidding war. So now, I want Derrick Henry and I want Lamar Jackson. I give you both $25 million. Well, Virginia says, well, I want you too, but I ain't giving you 25. Probably give you like 10, 15. They'd be a fool not to take that deal because of the money that's offered. So how does a Virginia find a way to get close to an Alabama or a Texas who has this kind of money, who can offer this kind of money? Yes, they got the alma mater that can invest and stuff like that. Cool, you got that. But now, oh shit, we got a tournament that we can join too? That can slide us some money too to pay this, that, and the third? So these tournaments are going to continue getting teams that are going to be interested, because not only are they going to get more people invested, but now the pot is going to grow. It's going to continue growing because you have more people into it. Now the pot grows, now more of attention. Now they could put more into that tournament. My only issue, I think, with different tournaments is, does it take away from the end goal of being a national champ? How does it impact that? We know that you got conference champs, right? We know you got conference champs, you got NCAA. We're used to those. Track and field, that's what you have. But in track and field, we have we got conference, and then we got a totally different tournament after, and then NCAA's. Well, damn, I do want to be a national champ, but if I go to this other tournament, I might be able to sneak off another, extra pocket money. So, what does it do for college basketball and other sports if they do have these break-off tournaments? How does it impact that? I mean, NBA, we're talking about it with the NBA Cup. We first thought that, hell, the NBA Cup is going to be huge. How do they balance being NBA Cup champ and NBA Finals champ? When will we see that team that wins the NBA Cup also be, the NBA Finals champ? So for colleges, it's these teams these universities is NCAA trying to make it fair to both the university and the school. I mean, the student athletes. We want you both to get paid. So now they're trying to figure out how to do that, and that's getting as much money as you can. How do we do that? We're going to start opening out little side tournaments and getting people to get in. And once you do that, the money goes up, the attention that you get. ESPN is going to talk about it. ESPN is going to buy in on some of the tournaments that they have. You know, they're going to put people out there to go cover those games. A lot of stuff changes. So it's the money that they're trying to get, because that's the stake we are in the NCAA right now, man. That's where we are. And I'm not going to say it's going to get worse, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot of tournaments. The only way I can see it getting worse, in my opinion, like I said earlier, is if you got teams that are just looking towards the tournaments and not the national championship. You know, I think that's the part for me where it's like, I don't like where that's going. You know, they're overweighing the tournament and not the national champ. Well, damn, I'm an ACC champ. Yeah, but you ain't win national, so you don't want that. You know what I mean? So, and it's a tough thing to deal with, man. I mean, it's gonna change a lot for the NCAA. It could be a good thing, but at some point, I think it's gonna be where it's gonna have to have certain tournaments. I'm like, okay, cool, this is it, because it's a lot of money invested, man. Everybody wants some type of return on their investment.
I'll put a bow on this. I do wonder, like, the player area that, like I said, they spending next year. I do wonder, are they going to try and do this around Thanksgiving again, or maybe like this can be like a preseason tournament that everybody get their eyes glued on? Like, you start off the season with this tournament, money involved, stuff like that, get the juices going, all that, and the going on in their favor. I do wonder about that. Like, should the NCAA be smart and promote this beginning of the year and all this stuff, and how these big teams meet up with each other, trying to make this get big pot? And then also you talk about the levels and stuff to this. What about these lower schools?
Mm-hmm.
How they gonna try to get in? You know what I'm saying? You know, what about the schools out there? Like, because the teams in it right now got heavy hitter names in it, whether coaching wise or player wise. But now, okay, if I'm like North Texas, and I know we're trying to find money somewhere, how are we gonna get in? You know what I'm saying? If I'm, Alabama A&M, how can we get in? You know what I'm saying? I know we're not winning the fucking thing, but how can we get our foot in the door? You know what I'm saying? Other schools, I can think of Florida Gulf Coast, North Carolina, Colorado. You get what I'm saying? Like, how can some of these other schools, like, damn, is this going to be only reserved for the big boys, or can we get into action as well? So I think one thing about the NIL in this area will be brought up about, or making it for the big boys to chase the money, or can everybody else get along in the pot as well? And that's, I think, one big thing that's going to be looked forward to the future. Yeah, players there are cool and stuff like that. The money's cool for the players. But if I'm some of these other schools around the nation and whatnot, hey, I want to get in as well. So Illinois, I like to get in this tournament as well. Mm-hmm. Big East State. So we'll see how things shake out for the Players Tournament and how they go about things in the future. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Very long show, but we had to get a lot in and all that good stuff. Shout out to Audie Crooks for Iowa State. She's been killing this year. 47 points for her. Get her win before the Cyclones win today. So she's doing big things. She'll be All-American by season to end, but playing very well for the Cyclones right now. But D-Lock, how can the people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black-813. We definitely got the dub today. Definitely needed that. Hopefully we can keep it going, man. We got a tough game against the Fleet. We lost, but for some reason they always bring a tough game. So, hoping my magic to put out. Really find the first thing.
You find the show's page at Twitter, X, Fast Break ISR, that's Fast Break IESR. You follow me at Spawn4288, that's Spawn4288. I talked about the Iron Ball a little bit. Talk about this one single tweet about the damn Titans. That's about it. Do follow me on my other two pages, the Crooks Process on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. You see the logos there. Give me a follow on there as well. Do follow iSource Radio on all your social media feeds, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell when the shows go live. Ours every Sunday or the other shows on the network. You'll get that notification and give us a like and follow as well. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, next week, more college basketball talk, more NBA talk. The world of basketball is up and rolling. Thank you for tuning in with us. This is Fast Break here for iSports Radio. You're the Reef Sports. We'll catch y'all next time.